Well, hello everyone, Matt here, and welcome to my first ever question video. Now, you guys have asked me lots of questions from music to fragrances and of course, life. So before I answer all of the questions you guys have asked me, I just want to go through all the fragrances that most of you have actually requested for me to review. Now, 90 Exa, I think that's your name, you would like me to do Encre Noir by Lalique. That one is coming, by the way. Stay tuned for that. Jonathan Malone, you would like me to review Polo Blue Sport by Ralph Lauren, and Ed Hardy Skulls and Roses. I don't know if Blue Sport is discontinued or not. I've seen Sport, but not Blue Sport, so I don't know about that. We'll see. Georgiev, cool name by the way. You would like me to do Romance for Men by Ralph Lauren, which of course is discontinued. I've looked for the prices for it. It's very expensive, but we'll see what happens. And also In the Mood for Love by Gianfranco Ferri. I will see what I can do. Jim R, you would like me to do, you've actually given me a lot here, so let's just see. Hohan Club by Balenciaga, Jules by Christine Dior, Grace Homme de Grace by Grace, I think that's pronounced right. Corolian by Guerlain, Vermeil Pour Homme by Jean-Louis Vermeil. And you would also like to see reviews from Carolina Herrera, Etienne Agnier. Oh my god, the way I pronounce fragrance names is terrible. I do apologise. You would also like to see some sort of Middle Eastern companies. For example, like Pal Zaleri, Al Rihab, Latafa, Rosassi, Arabian Oud, Montal and Mancera. I will see what I can do. I actually own one fragrance from Al Rihab, which is Silva, which of course is like a famous clone to Silver Mountain Water by Creed. So yeah, I might even do a video on that in the near future. Let's see what happens. And Glenn Clough would like to see Valentino Uomo Intense. I will see what I can do about that. I actually smelled that the other day when I was at the Metro Center, and it smells intense. It smells amazing. Even the original is really nice though. I'll see what I can do, Glenn. Thank you very much, buddy. Now let's get on to the questions. Now, Jim R, you've asked me 3 questions. So, number 1, in no particular order, Jim R, number 1, here we go. What are your top 6 fragrances for 2016? Well, I did a video on this. I'll leave the link in the description below, sorry. Check that out if you like. And your second question is, what are your top 6 church or office scents? Now, I haven't done a video on this, and okay, so for the office, because I don't really go to church, so in terms of office, I would probably say Starwalker by Mont Blanc would be a great fragrance for the office. CK1 by Calvin Klein. Nautica Voyage, I think would be really good for the office. Versace Man by Versace would be a great choice. Maybe something like Preferred Stock by Coty. Without a doubt. And I would say maybe Versace Eros would be really good for the office. I mean, there's a kind of mixture in that list of subtle scents and strong scents, but they're not the type of scents that are going to really irritate anyone when you're at work, so I would probably say those. And the third question is, what are your top 6 beast mode scents that you don't care about offending anyone with? Well, I don't care to begin with. Nah, I'm just kidding. I try to go easy on, fragrances and stuff. So, top 6 beast mode scents. Wow, I would probably say Lapidus Pour Homme, Quorum by Antonio Puig, Santos de Cartier, Obsession by Calvin Klein. Let's see what else. Azara Pour Homme, without a doubt. And of course, my favourite, Balenciaga Pour Homme, definitely. So yeah, thanks a lot, Jim. Some great questions there, man. Andrew, good to see you, Andrew. Thank you so much for asking me this question. Now, the question that you asked me was, as you enjoy the Creed line so much, which I do, absolutely, are there any other houses that you're particularly interested in, but you haven't had the chance to smell yet? Every fragrance! Anything niche, anything designer, but I also like the fact of going back in time and looking at fragrances that have been discontinued from the 70s, 80s and 90s. That's probably like a big hobby of mine, going back and smelling stuff from the past. But in terms of like companies, I would probably say something maybe from Mancera or more fragrances from Andy Toyer. I'm a big Andy Toyer fan ever since I smelled L'air de Desert Marocain. Fell in love with it, so I would love to try some of his other fragrances. So yeah, probably every single fragrance out there, to be fair. So yeah, thanks so much, Andrew, I appreciate that. Now Matt, Mr. Matt C, a good friend of mine who I've done a few collaborations with, you've asked me a question. In fact, yes, you've recorded yourself. Let's see yourself.
Hey Matt, I have a question for you. If you were only able to have 5 fragrances, what 5 fragrances would they be and why? Talk to you later, bud. Looking forward to your answer.
Are you having a laugh? 5 fragrances? That's torture. Okay, I would probably say Habit Rouge by Guerlain, Lapidus Pour Homme by Ted Lapidus, Obsession for Men by Calvin Klein, The Dreamer by Versace, and Balenciaga Pour Homme thing. Dude, that really tortured me. You cannot do that to me. Why? Okay, thanks a lot, Matt. Appreciate that, buddy. Next person is Simi. Thank you so much, Simi. Your 2 questions were, if money was no object, what fragrance would you have? Every fragrance. Probably my favourite, which would be Balenciaga Pour Homme. I would like to stock up on that fragrance as much as I possibly can. Obviously it's discontinued, but I would just love to have as many bottles of that juice as possible because I absolutely worship it. So probably Balenciaga Pour Homme, without a doubt. Your second question was, what was your first fragrance and what got you addicted to fragrance? This is a great question. I mean, it's kind of 2 questions, but putting it as 1 question, my first fragrance was when I was 14. It was Hugo Boss Energize, which I loved at the time. Absolutely loved it. It was just perfect for a 14, 15-year-old guy, you know, like kid, like I was. So I would probably say that. But what started me getting into like an addiction to fragrances, probably just the thought of experiencing new scents and realizing that they were all different. And I didn't start to really train my nose up until I was about 20, maybe 21 years old. Well, actually, maybe not even then. Maybe I've only had my nose trained for maybe about a year and a half. Because when I look back on some of my old videos, I cringe. And I think that my videos are a little bit better now because, you know, I like to feature the notes on the screen and, you know, little stuff like that. So I guess in terms of my collection and the fact that I've been able to introduce myself to some of these new fragrances like niche, designer and vintage and whatnot, it's made me a better reviewer and a better editor. So I guess just the fact of trying new fragrances out got me addicted, like just finding all the different notes and stuff. It's more than a hobby, it's more my life, so yeah. So thank you so much, Sammy, I appreciate that. Now, Brace Raid, you've asked me 5 questions here, and there's only 1 question which is about fragrances. So we'll get into the 4 ones about music first. So, are you a Pisces like Chris Squire? Well, first of all, Chris Squire is was an amazing musician before he passed away this year. Was it last year? Forgive me, I have forgotten about that. But he was a great musician, and I absolutely loved him. And yes, he was just a tremendous musician. Honestly, he was absolutely amazing. And yes, I am a Pisces. I was born 9th of March 1993, and I didn't even know Chris Squire was a Pisces. Like, what the heck? Really? So yeah, I mean, Fish Out of Water by Chris Squire is a great album. I've actually got that on my iTunes and I listen to it when I'm doing like a lot of editing and stuff, so it's a great album. Your second question was, what are some of your favourite chords, chord tones, progressions, melodies, harmonies, or rhythms? Wow, that's a good question. Well, first of all, I don't know how to read music. I simply listen to a song and then I'm able to play it. I guess I just listen by ear. Which of course a lot of musicians do these days. Elton John was famous for that, also Paul McCartney was famous for that. So, you know, it doesn't really bother me, the fact that I cannot read music. I've tried doing it, but it's like a different language. It's like whenever I try, it's just a wall in front of me. So yeah, I do struggle with it. But I would say I like the fact of having different sections. So progressive music for me is a big part of my life. So I like the thought of having something really melodic and then going into a different section with different time signatures. So I could have something in 4/4 and I could go into something really intense, like maybe like something like, I don't know, 6/4 or 6/8. It's just, you know, something different that changes, you know. I like change in a song, and even long songs like some of Dream Theater's songs and Yes's songs are like 20 minutes long. That doesn't bother me because they're really interesting to hear, and the fact that they have the different sections and stuff. But in terms of, like, this is sort of going from the progressions and the melodies and the harmonies. I'm a big fan of Tangerine Dream, which are in fact a sort of German electronic musical unit. There's like a few members and they all play synthesizers, and a lot of the songs that they have are like, they play a lot of arpeggiators and sequences, and I would probably say Tangerine Dream are great for that sort of stuff. And Kraftwerk are another band, Jean-Michel Jarre, French composer, amazing. Like, I like a lot of electronic music. I guess it's why I'm a keyboard player to this day. They're sort of my main influences. So yeah, I would probably say that. Third question is, what type of music do you hate? Trance music. Trance and rave, to be exact. I don't know what it is about it. It's just like, whenever I hear it, it just sounds like... I just don't like it. And I guess it's the same when people say, you know, like, death metal. People don't like death metal because of the... and the scream and stuff like that, and, you know, stuff like that. That's not really my cup of tea either, but I would say I'd probably prefer that over trance. There's just something about trance which sort of annoys me. Don't like it. I mean, if you like trance and you're watching this video, I do really apologise. It's just my opinion, so never liked it really. Never liked it. And you would think as well I would like it, considering the fact that I'm a keyboard player, and you know, trance music is a form of electronic music. So I don't know. It's just something I don't like. And number 4 is, what jobs have you worked at? I mentioned a few of my jobs in my previous video, which was the FragranceMatt story. I've worked as a carer before. I worked as a home carer, caring for somebody who was unable to look after himself, you know, that sort of thing. I've worked in fragrance before. I've worked for L'Oreal, selling fragrances from the L'Oreal company, like Diesel, Armani, Cacharel. I've sold a lot of fragrances like that. And I've also worked as a builder before, and I've worked as a baker as well. So I've done quite a few jobs in my life, and at the minute I would do anything because I'm currently jobless, so I'd do absolutely anything. So those are some of my jobs. And your last question, Brace, was, what fragrances do you hate? Well, there's only one fragrance that I probably would say I hated, which is Paco Rabanne 1 Million. Cannot get away with it. Like, whenever I smell it on somebody, I just instantly know what it is, and it's just like, you know, you don't smell original to me. I don't like it. Yeah, I would probably say that. And it's just, yeah, it's not unique enough for me. It doesn't have that sort of character to it. It smells like just a mess to me. It reminds me, like, this might sound disgusting, but it reminds me of the smell of throw up. Because every time I go to this nightclub, there was this nightclub in Newcastle that I used to go to a long time ago. I forget the name of it. But every guy that went in there used to wear Paco Rabanne 1 Million. And the nightclub itself was horrible. It used to smell of throw up and just alcohol. It wasn't a nice, clean place. And the only thing you would probably smell in there was throw up and 1 Million by Paco Rabanne. So whenever I think of that, it actually leaves a bad feeling in my stomach. So yeah, 1 Million by Paco Rabanne, definitely. Yeah. If you like it, I'm sorry. So yeah, thanks Brace, I appreciate that. Now, the next questions, there's 3 questions from Ben Champion. Now these ones were sort of quick. I got these ones just before Ben, so you're quite lucky that I was able to write them down. So, Ben, you've asked me 3 questions here about fragrances. The first one was, what's your all-time favourite 1980s powerhouse scent? It's a shame, because I would probably say Balenciaga Pour Homme, but that was released in 1990, so for an 80s scent, I would easily say Lapidus Pour Homme, without a doubt. Because it's so unique, I would say that. Any favourite layering combos? Well, firstly, I don't really layer fragrances. It's something I haven't really done a lot of. I haven't got a lot of experiencing with layers, so yeah, it's something I don't really do. If I can give you a few ideas that I think would be nice, I can do that instead. I would think maybe something like Czar by Van Cleef & Arpels would go really nice with something like Quorum by Antonio Puig. If you want something like a piney tobacco scent, I think that would work really well. But I would have to look into it. I might even do a video on it in the near future after I've looked at some of my fragrances and what would be good to blend with. So yeah. And your last question is, what is your favourite progressive rock band? Well, I really like Dream Theater, who are mostly leaning towards metal, so they're more of a progressive metal band, but I'm a big Yes fan. I mean, I love John Anderson, I love what he contributed to the band. I'm not a big Yes fan now because I feel like it's not the same band. I mean, Chris Squire's not there, sadly he died. John Anderson's not in the band anymore, and you know, Rick Wakeman's not in the band anymore. It's just not the same, you know? I mean, I'm not saying they're not a bad band still, I mean, they're really good, but yeah, not the same band in my opinion. But Dream Theater, I would say, easily are my favourite progressive metal band or progressive rock band in general. So thanks a lot, Ben. Some great questions there, man. David Torres. Good to see you, my man. You've actually done a little video for me. Let's see it.
Mr. Suds, greetings from California. David, my questions to you are, why do you think so many people dislike the Powerhouse fragrance? We all know Balenciaga Pour Homme is your favorite fragrance of all time. What's your second favorite fragrance of all time? And what are your favorite 80s movies? Look forward to hearing your answers soon, and take care. Oh, one more thing. For you guys in England, here you go. Take care. Bye-bye.
Diego Maradona. Really? Your questions were, the first one was, why do you think a lot of people dislike the powerhouse fragrance genre? I think it's the same reason why people don't like aquatic fragrances, because I know a lot of people who wear only strong fragrances and they don't wear aquatics because they might be considered weak or they don't have balls, you know, like what a lot of people say. I mean, powerhouse fragrances have a lot of macho-ness to them. They smell the most manliness, so I guess if you want to be a man, you'll have the reason to like them. But I only like powerhouse scents because they're from the 80s and the 90s, so that's sort of what I would say. But I guess it's just because they're so strong. Not all people like powerhouse fragrances and because they're so strong. So people who don't like them won't wear them. So yeah. The second question is, we all know Balenciaga Pour Homme is your favorite fragrance of all time. But what is your second? Whoa, tough question because there's so many. I'll probably say Lapidus Pour Homme. Yeah, Lapidus Pour Homme without a doubt. Because it's so unique, just like Balenciaga Pour Homme. I feel like I've mentioned this little guy loads. You're getting all the fame now, aren't you? Hey. And your last question was, what are your favourite 80s movies? Love this question. Well, firstly, I love the 80s for movies. In terms of comedy, I love John Candy. So Planes, Trains and Automobiles, for me, is a must-see. I think anyone who's into the 80s would love that movie, and yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. Just, love it. And I think the fact that Lapidus Pour Homme was released the same year as that movie, 1987, it kind of makes me think, well, yeah, that's just the icing on the cake, really. Yeah, in terms of like a drama, I would say easily Wall Street. Wall Street, starring Michael Douglas. That is a movie you need to see. It's fantastic. Love it. In terms of horror, I would say maybe The Shining, Jack Nicholson, which came out in 1980. It's such a scary movie. And also The Thing. The Thing is frightening. I remember seeing that as a kid and I was just like, what's that coming out of that husky? Scary. So yeah, the 80s just had this real quality about them, which they weren't exactly great for special effects, but they were really creepy in a way, like a lot of the horrors. But the comedies were different. Like, they don't make comedies like they did in the 80s anymore. And it's the same with dramas. Like, the dramas were just exactly the same. Amazing. Like, absolutely love them. So yeah, some of my favorites there, definitely. So yeah, thanks a lot, David. Some great questions there, buddy. Thank you. Now, the next question comes from Top Line Fragrances. Now, your question was, what would your ideal or perfect job be? And don't say none, as that's my answer. Fair enough. Working in fragrance, maybe being a supervisor again, or a seller of fragrance, or even being a perfumer. A perfumer would be amazing. Or to own my own company would be perfect, seriously. Because I would love to make fragrances based on uniqueness and fragrances that people haven't really smelled before. They cannot really associate it with anything. Yeah, easily. Something to do with fragrance, anything to do with fragrance would be great. Even to be a musician, because music's also a big part of my life. I would love to be like famous, I guess, and just to be known for my music and songwriting. That would be great. So yeah, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. And the last person to ask me questions, in fact, you've asked me 8 questions. I'm so excited for this. Jacques has asked me 8 fragrances here. So Jacques, here we go, buddy. The first question was, do you have an obsession with more scented products like deodorants, shower gels, body lotions, candles, diffusers, or tea? Well, I'm actually drinking tea right now and it's delicious, you know, because I'm English, you know. Not really. Not really. I mean, I like deodorants. I wear Lynx, which of course is like the European and British version of Axe in the United States. I also wear Nivea deodorants, which are like antiperspirant. I think they smell great. Dove. I also wear Dove, which is really nice, which is actually for women, but I wear it and it smells great. Shower gel is not a really big fan of. I mean, I'll put whatever I can on my body to wash myself when I'm in the shower, but I don't care which one it is and stuff. I mean, you can get really expensive ones, and I'm just like, well, what's the point? It's going to clean you regardless if you use a one that cost £1. You know, just that sort of thing. Body lotions, I like to moisturize. I like to keep my skin feeling soft. So I guess, you know, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I like scent-free stuff. Maybe like get like a bit of cream and then squirt a fragrance on, then mix it together and put it all over my skin. That's probably what I would do in terms of body lotions, but I wouldn't wear them all the time. Candles, yeah, I like candles. I've actually got some candles right here. Some Yankee candles. These are the only ones I've got, but I really like them. They've got things like cappuccino truffle, holiday baking, summer scoop, cinnamon stick, honey glow, Sicilian lemon. Yeah, really good. This is probably my favorite one though, which is tartan, I think it's pronounced. Taten, I don't even know. But it smells amazing. It smells like scones. It smells like Paris. It actually smells like a Parisian cafe. It smells so good. So yeah, I mean, I like some things. Probably candles are really good. I know people do candle reviews on YouTube. It's just, I wouldn't personally do them. Fragrances is my life. That's, yeah, easily. Now, your second question is talk about your tattoo. This is my granddad's signature. I got it done when I was in America, and it's very meaningful to me. I absolutely love it. I might even add some decoration around it, I don't know, but yeah, it was my first tattoo and I love it, love it. The guy who did it did a tremendous job because it's just the way it's been done is just absolutely great, and I love it. So yeah, John Michael Sutters was his name, JM Sutters, so yeah. Third question is, if you were rich, what kind of fancy car would you have? Well, first of all, I'm just going to get this out there, I'm not really into sports cars. I mean, I like them. I wouldn't say no to a sports car, by the way. I wouldn't own one per se, if it was like my choice. I like a lot of German-made cars, so I love Mercedes, I love Audis, I love Skoda. If you guys have ever heard of Skoda, they're a really good company. And Volkswagen, great. But I would definitely say Mercedes. There's something about a Mercedes car which is just so elegant and beautiful. Definitely, I would say Mercedes. But if I ever had to own maybe an Audi, I would say maybe an A3 or an A4, or maybe even an A5. Not a TT though, I think TTs are a bit small. My stepdad used to own a TT actually, and yeah. He's more into cars like I'm into fragrances, so yeah. And the fourth question is, what kind of fragrance would you use for windscreen washer fluid? Here's me looking at my cabinet now. Obsession for Men by Calvin Klein? I think that would be pretty good. Or maybe something a bit more citrusy, so maybe something like Acqua di Gio by Giorgio Armani. I think that would be really good too. Number 5 is, what are your dislikes about fragrances, the companies, the quality, etc., and what would you change? I don't have a lot of problems with a lot of fragrance companies these days. I mean, one problem that I would say with a company, it would be Calvin Klein. I feel like they're not creative enough. Like, they make too many flankers, they make too many, the summer fragrances. I mean, the summer fragrances are pretty good that they have every single year, but I think that they're just a little bit too, like, they don't have a big brain, if you like. They don't make a lot of new stuff. I don't have a problem with stuff. If I had to change anything about fragrances in general, I would say prices. I mean, some prices for fragrances these days are extortionate. It's ridiculous. So yeah, probably just the prices, really. Question 6 was, and I love this one by the way, if science discovers that fragrances are as bad for your health as smoking, would you stop using them? I don't know. Is there anyone on YouTube who reviews cigarettes? If there is, let me know, because I would love to see it. Nah, probably not. I mean, I don't know actually. It's because I don't smoke, so I mean, yeah, I don't smoke mainly because they harm your health. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a tough question, but I do like it. I like the idea behind it. Seventh question is, which 1980s fragrance would you use on a date with Samantha Fox? Oh god. Lapis Porum, without a doubt, because it's unique, and she might really like that one. Number 8, can you do a collection tour of your fragrances? Because your shelf looks pretty glorious in the background. You know what? Yeah, I'll do a video on that in the near future. I promise. So thank you so much everyone for doing this question video. It means a great deal. I just want to say a big thank you to Jacques De Vries, Top Line Fragrances, David Torres, Ben Champion, Brace Raid, Simi, Mr. Matt C, Hollywood Silent Film known as Andrew, Jim R, and the guys who commented on the fragrances to see reviewed are 90xer, Jonathan Malone, Giorgio Georgiev, Jim R, and Glenn Clough. Thank you so much everyone for watching. Please let me know what you think of this video in the comments below and I will get back to you. Keep smelling good and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye for now.